G'day and welcome to your Cougar camper van. While you might be stoked to get out on the road shortly, please follow this presentation closely so we can point out all of the important features of your Cougar. So here we are in the cockpit or cabin of the Cougar camper van. You'll notice firstly that it's a 5-speed manual transmission in the H pattern and it's shown there on the knob. Below this we've got the park brake. Pull the park brake out to engage, press in the button, turn and push to release when you want to drive. Up here we have a CD stereo, also with MP3 compatibility and iPod plug-in. This is available on some of our camper vans. Below this, cup holder so we can hold your milkshakes. Air conditioning and heating controls down below. And you'll notice below this we have a 12-volt cigarette lighter, so you can plug in any sort of device that has a charger for a 12-volt plug-in. At the moment we've got your GPS plugged in, and this is an option that you can take when renting a vehicle. Helps you to obviously not get lost and avoid any traffic infringements or toll roads. Moving on to the dashboard, you've got 3 main instruments in front of you. On the right hand side is the fuel gauge. Next to this in the middle is the speedo. So remember, speed limits vary throughout Australia, so keep to the correct speed limit. A little reminder to keep left on Australian roads also. And importantly, on the left hand side is your temperature gauge. When the car is travelling under normal conditions, this temperature gauge will sit halfway. If for any reason this goes above halfway, you need to stop the car immediately and call your roadside assistance. On your steering column, you've got the controls for your windscreen wipers first of all. On the left hand side here, pull for your windscreen washers and up and down to adjust the speed. On the right hand side you've got your light controls, twist to turn the lights on, and up and down for your indicators when you're turning a corner. And lastly, on the steering wheel, your horn. Okay, next to your ignition here you've got the switch for your electronic mirrors, adjustable there, and down below, release for your fuel cap and also for your hood or bonnet on the front of the vehicle. Once you've opened the bonnet from within the cockpit, release the safety catch, hold the bonnet up with the stay like so. Underneath the bonnet you have the overflow bottle containing coolant for the engine's cooling system. The system is pressurised, so it's dangerous to open the cap once the engine has been running and it is warm. It's a requirement of your rental to check the level of the cooling system every day. The safest time to do this is in the morning when the engine is cold and it's safe to refill the coolant should you need to. The full mark for the coolant is shown here on the side of the bottle right next to my finger. The level of the coolant should be at or above this mark at all times. Should you find it necessary to regularly top up the coolant, you must report this immediately. Also underneath the bonnet is your windscreen washer fluid, which you can top up here should you need to. And you can release the bonnet, put the catch in its place and shut it like that. As with the cooling system, it's also a requirement of your rental to check the oil level every morning. To do this, we must access the engine bay. The first part to accessing the engine bay is to release the 2 latches located under the vinyl. The latch closest to you is spring loaded. To open, push the lever away from you and lift the seat. To close, push down on the seat. To raise the engine cover, you need to fold the seat back down, lift the cover and hold it up with the stay. Now that the engine cover is open, it's quite easy to check the oil. As with the cooling system, the safest time to do this is in the morning before you've started the engine. Firstly, pull the yellow handle dipstick out of its place. Give it a quick wipe over with a rag so that it's clean. You can now see that the top mark is your full level. Put the dipstick back into its tube there, all the way, pull it back out to check the level. You can see the oil is up to the full mark. Should you need to top up the oil filler cap is located here. Remember, it's very important never to overfill the oil. Should you need to top up the oil regularly, it's a requirement that you report this immediately. To close the engine cover, it's the same process in reverse. Release the seat, drop the cover down, fold the seat back up, close the latch on the far side manually, push down on the seat to lock in the self-locking latch. In the cabin, there's seating for 3 people. As you can see now, there's a driver's seat, a passenger seat. To access the seat for the 3rd person, we need to fold up the centre console with the lever, like this. You can see the seat belt for the 3rd person. Remember, it's a legal requirement when travelling in Australia that all occupants of the vehicle are seated wearing their seatbelt at all times. Remember, it might not be as spacious as a normal car, but it is a camper van after all. Next, we're going to show you some features on the outside of your Cougar camper van. You'll notice the fuel flap. We opened this before from inside the car. Hides your fuel cap there, and remember, unleaded petrol, 91 octane only. Up here, you release the sliding door, which allows you access to the living area in the Cougar camper van. The rear of the camper van is also known as the tailgate. To get in, pull the handle and lift. To close, push firmly. Remember, the Cougar camper van is also 5 metres long. Moving around to the driver's side of the camper van, there are some really important features. The first thing you'll notice is the 240 volt power inlet for the van. Using this at powered campsites gives you access to the microwave, the power points inside the van, and charges the auxiliary battery system. To plug in, grab the 15 amp power lead provided, lift the flap and plug into the van. Plug the other end of the lead into the power source at the campsite. Remember, this is a 15 amp power lead, standard at any powered campsite around Australia. Along we have the water inlet for refilling the water tank. It's 30 litres and it's for your kitchen sink inside the van. Below this we have the gas storage compartment. This is lockable and you just push the button here to open the... Turn on the gas to your stove. Firstly, turn on the tap at the gas bottle, winding out anti-clockwise all the way. Next, turn the valve on to release the gas to your stove. Remember, always turn off both the tap and the valve when not using the stove, and also to refill the gas bottle before you return the camper van. The Cougar camper van has a central locking system. You can unlock and lock all doors from the driver's side. It's important to check the tyres on a regular basis. Firstly, check the tyre pressure, ensuring all 4 tyres on the Cougar camper van are at 50 psi or 350 kPa. You can check tyre pressures at all service stations around Australia. Also, it's important to check the profile of the tyre regularly. To do this, turn the steering wheel so you expose the full width of the tyre, paying particular attention to any uneven wear. If you do notice any excessive uneven wear, it's important to report this immediately for your own safety. There's a few more important points outside the vehicle. One thing is the spare tyre. Hopefully you don't need it, but it's located at the rear of the vehicle underneath the rear bumper bar. Tools you'll need for changing the spare tyre are located in the sliding door on the step. Toolkit, jack for lifting the vehicle up, and along the step you've also got a fire extinguisher. Retrieve the toolkit from within the sliding door step, and it consists of wheel chocks, jack handle and extension bars, socket for releasing the spare tyre, and wheel brace. To lower the spare tyre from underneath the vehicle, assemble the tools as shown. And start winding to the left. Once you've lowered the tyre to this position, release the hook from the cradle and gently lower to the ground. Use the jack to raise the vehicle, fit the extension bars and handle as shown, wind to the right to raise the vehicle and to the left to lower. Make sure you use the recommended jack points underneath the vehicle. For your safety, before you raise the vehicle, secure one of the wheels that remains grounded with the wheel chocks. Remember, If you have any problems with changing the tyre, call the roadside assistance. A couple of other nifty features on the outside of the Cougar camper van are the outside table, located behind the front passenger seat. Pull it out, hook it in to the rail on the side of the van, and pull out the leg. Next to this, you've also got the outside light. Moving into the living area of the camper van, up the front you've got your kitchen, holds some storage in the form of drawers and cupboards, kitchen sink and tap, 2 lights and a mirror. Above this you've got a storage compartment holding some camp chairs. You've also got your microwave oven here and your 2-way fridge. On top of the kitchen bench is also your gas stove, so lift the lid. To light the gas stove, once you've already turned on the gas outside the van as we did before, push in, turn your dial round to full and click the igniter button. It's important to hold the knob in for at least 5 seconds to ensure the burner stays lit. To set up the inside table, grab your supplied table leg, insert it through the bracket and into the mount, tighten up the bracket, nice and firm there. Grab the table, there's also a bracket on the bottom of the table, put on top of the leg and also tighten. To convert the Cougar camper van into its nighttime layout, remove the leg from beneath the table, lay the table out to form the bed base, grab the wooden panels from within the storage compartment that form the rest of the bed base and insert them just like this. Use the cushion backs to make your mattress. If you have a third person travelling in your Cougar camper van, the upper rear storage compartment does convert to a bunk bed. Simply release the luggage barrier, pull out the boards and spread out your cushions to make a mattress. Also in the top of your Cougar camper van are some windows. You open them like so to provide some extra ventilation on those hot summer nights. You'll notice that there's a mosquito screen here to prevent any creepy crawlies coming in. Please ensure that these are in good condition before your rental starts. Also located in the upper rear compartment as part of your living equipment are 3 pillows, 3 sleeping bags, 3 towels, 3 pillow covers and 2 sheets. Back up to the kitchen and we can find the remainder of your living equipment. In the drawers here we have your cutlery and cooking utensils, also some tea and coffee, cleaning gear, matches and some dishwashing liquid. And over to the cupboard, kettle and cups, plates and bowls. Finally we have pots and pans and a strainer. Under your bench seats there's heaps of storage. We've located your bedboards, table leg, bucket, dustpan and broom, hose for your water and 240 volt power lead within these compartments. Finally, in the rear compartment of your Cougar camper van is the auxiliary battery. This is crucial to the operation of your 12 volt appliances, such as the fluorescent lights, the refrigerator and the water pump for your sink. The auxiliary battery should last for 24 hours. It is trickle charged when the van is driving and also when you're plugged into a powered campsite as we showed you before. Generally, it should take 8 hours of driving to fully charge the battery or be plugged in overnight at the powered campsite. As a general rule, we recommend to plug into a powered campsite 2 out of every 3 nights to ensure continuous battery operation. Looking to the switch panel within the Cougar camper van, you can see that there are 2 power points. Remember, these only operate when you're plugged to a powered campsite. Above the power points, there is a safety switch. This is to disconnect the power should there be a malfunction. Remember to leave this switch in the on position at all times.
This is the switch panel for the auxiliary battery system. The first switch should be left in the on position at all times. If it is switched off, it will disconnect power to all the 12-volt appliances, including the fridge. The wash switch controls power to the water pump for your kitchen sink. Only switch this on when you need to use the water tap. It must be switched off always when you finish using the water tap to avoid excessive battery drain. Please remember, the microwave oven will only operate when the van is plugged into a powered campsite. Turn the fridge on by turning the dial. Adjust it to the level to suit the conditions. For warmer temperatures, a higher power setting is needed. To maintain efficient operation of the fridge, it is important to avoid excess opening and closing, and also, wherever possible, to stock the fridge with cold items. A good tip to keep your battery running longer is to dial your fridge down to a lower setting overnight. The height of your Cougar camper van is 2.8 metres. This will exclude you from low clearance objects such as McDonald's drive-thrus and multi-level car parks. Remember that any damage to the high-top section of your camper van is not covered by the insurance. Now that you've seen how the Cougar camper van works, if you have any other questions about the functions and operations of your van, please ask the staff. Otherwise, have a safe and memorable Australian road trip.